Stop treating your music as if it is the most precious thing in the world. Your music is not your children. It is not your parents. Your music is not a long-term relationship, and it is not a precious treasure. Your music is a disposable and replaceable commodity. And if you are hoarding onto all of your music as if it is some dragon's treasure trove worth of riches, then you are just going to be watching everyone else pass you by, making all sorts of money as you sit in the poorhouse waiting for someone to give you a chance. Hello rock stars, Matt Vanderbo here, and in this video I want to tell you why it is so important to have the correct mindset about the disposability of your music rather than having the mindset of treating everything like it's the best thing you've ever done. The bottom line is this: the music that we make in the sync world is disposable and replaceable. It represents a little snapshot of your time, maybe 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but that's all it is. You can replace this stuff. If you did it once, you can do another song just like it. And in fact, every piece of music should be getting better and better and better than the last piece that you made. And so you really need to view these things as the disposable commodity that they are. Now, one of the common mistakes I've seen in my 15 years in this business is, and this primarily comes from people who are new to this world, who are all excited and they finally wrote something in a new style and they're exceptionally proud of it. And so they think that this one piece of music is so good that they have to wait for the perfect deal offer to come along, and they will turn down other deal offers along the way, waiting for that perfect offer to come through because they don't want to part with this precious treasure, because never in a million years could they make a song that good again. And so these people, after a year or so of work, will finally get an offer coming their way on this piece of music that they thought was the pinnacle of their achievement. And then they'll look through the contract and say,
well, they want to take 100% of the publishing share.
Or,
I'm not doing that, no way.
Or they will see that an exclusive library wants to assume ownership of the copyright. And then they'll say,
no way, I'm not letting go of my copyright, man, no way.
And so they pass on these deals in hopes that a better offer will come along. Well, what really happens in those situations is that a better deal does not come along. In fact, those couple of instances that I just mentioned are very standard operating procedures in this sync music world. The publisher will take 100% of the publisher's share because they are the freaking publisher. You will keep the writer's share. Now, sometimes the publisher will try to take a little bit of that writer's share, and that's where you can be a little bit more discerning and determine whether or not you can stomach that. But by and large, the publisher will keep 100% of the publisher's share. That's what it's designed for. So don't get hung up on what is the common practices in this industry just because you don't know that that's the common thing. So these people turn down these offers because they don't know any better, and they hold out for something better. And then sometimes another offer will come to them if the music is good enough, and that offer will almost certainly be a carbon copy of the offer that came before. And then they'll turn that one down because they turned the previous one down. And then maybe they get a third offer, maybe they get a fourth, and eventually they see that, oh wow, I guess everybody is asking for the same thing. I guess I should have just taken the first deal that came at me 2 years ago, but they didn't. So they burned all this time waiting for something better to come along, and something better does not come along. And in some cases, what happens to these poor people that turn down the first offer is they never get a second offer at all. And so this piece that was so precious to them, that they were just sure was their path to riches, instead just sits on their hard drive and no one ever hears it. It never gets out into the marketplace. It's never pitched to any shows, and it is just sitting there collecting dust instead of collecting royalties. What a freaking shame! And it's really heartbreaking for me to see this, especially when people have good music. But those composers and songwriters are just looking at things through the wrong lens. They are seeing this one track they did as the ultimate achievement of their musical career, and so they refuse to let it go until all the cards line up in their favor. And that is just the wrong way to approach this business. If you really want to get ahead, you need to understand that the music that you make is disposable and replaceable. You need to be in the habit of making music regularly, and once you start churning out track after track after track after track, you will see that it's not as hard as you thought it was, and the great song that you wrote back here in January doesn't hold a candle to what you made here in June. And this mindset only happens once you have created dozens and maybe hundreds or thousands of things. So here's the deal. Music is just music. I mean, it's a thing we can't even put our hands on it. It's not a child. Your child is a precious treasure. Your family, your friends, your parents, those are precious treasures. Your house is a precious treasure. Your music, not at all. The music we make, especially instrumental cues that are going to reality TV shows, are more like widgets. And you are a widget factory producer. And you are a widget factory producing dozens and hundreds of widgets. You are probably going to follow the same formula over and over and over again, especially if you are using templates, which I highly recommend. And you can check out this video about why templates are such a time saver. But these are widgets. There's nothing, sure, they may be musical and they may come from some form of creativity, but you're not Mozart over here. You're not Taylor Swift, who has to make #1 hit songs all the time. You are just making background music for reality TV shows. You're not setting the world on fire with your compositional prowess and musicianship. You are just packaging up a musical product similar to how I package up popcorn in my side hustle, which is my gourmet popcorn business. I package up popcorn and sell it. That's it. And my musical cues are no different. It's just a pre-packaged piece of music, and I give it here and I give it there, and I don't worry about favorable deal terms. And I'll go over all of this in a future video, and I'll tell you exactly how I approach all the deals that are offered to me. But when you view things as widgets and disposable, it opens you up to much more opportunity, because you are going to be way more willing to get your music into the hands of people that will get it into TV shows. You probably cannot get your music to TV shows on your own unless you are well connected, and unless you have pipelines to music supervisors. You're probably going to hit dead ends if you try to do this on your own. So you need to get your music into music libraries, and music libraries all have, by and large, very, very, very similar terms, and you just need to take chances knowing that you can make more of the same music over and over and over again. So I really want to impress upon you that you need to stop looking at your music as if it is something you could never ever replicate. Stop holding out for better deals when something is staring you right in the face. So I want you to get rid of the mindset that your music is some type of precious commodity that you will never ever be able to replicate. Stop treating your music as if it is the jewel of the Nile, and start looking at your music as if it is nothing more than a cup full of popcorn that you are going to give to someone to enjoy. And when a music library enjoys it and they have that popcorn or that music in their catalog and they give it to a production company, that production company will get it in a show and you will get money, as opposed to the person who is waiting for something better to come along because you think you will never write as good of a song as this one, and instead you're sitting on a pile of nothing. So hopefully I've made this point by now without beating this horse to death. I'm gonna finish this video with a joke. Why did the scientist remove his doorbell? Because he wanted to win the Nobel Prize. All right, see ya guys.